Alright, what up YouTube? So today I'm going to break down the bare minimum you're going to need to go out and have fun with a fly rod. Alright, so fly fishing, the sport itself, has had a pretty big stigma for being overwhelming, having a high barrier to entry, right? I mean, I personally have experienced that. You know, you walk into any fly shop and I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. I don't know what to get. I don't know what any of this stuff is. And so it causes a lot of people, myself included, that kind of just want to not take the leap, right? But hopefully today I'm going to show you in this video that you can get out on the water with just a few key things and relatively cost efficient. Alright, so welcome to the channel, guys. My name's Robert, or Rob, you can call me Rob. I'm an avid fisherman. Recently took the plunge into fly fishing, and now it's all I do. So that's the bulk of this channel you're going to see is fly fishing. We're going to be fishing. I live in DFW, so we're going to be fishing in Dallas, in the creeks of Dallas. I found a really cool book, DFW Fly Fishing. I'll have a link on my page and on the section to go and find it. Super handy if you live in DFW. Has all the good spots. Post videos on that. We'll fly fish all over the U.S. So thanks for joining. Obviously hope you like it, and like and subscribe, so on and so forth. Alright, so thankfully for you guys, I've spent thousands of dollars probably on guides to show me how to fly fish, and I'm going to bring you all that knowledge of what I learned for free, so you guys don't have to spend anything. It's always good to, if you're going to new water, to probably bring out a guide if you can afford it, if you want to bring some friends out, because they typically know where the best spots to fish is. But as far as like getting it set up, showing you what gear you need, hopefully this video helps. Alright, so probably first question is, what is fly fishing? Well, the best way to describe it, it is a type of fishing that you use a fly rod and you use these special kind of simulated baits called flies, which are made basically of like hair, beads, small pieces of metal to basically simulate fish and bait that fish would eat. So very similar to bait fish and using these plastic lures, except you're using flies. There's a different, obviously, technique for casting and all that stuff, which we can go into in another video, but that's essentially what fly fishing is. Traditionally, most people associate fly fishing, probably you'll see, with basically catching trout in mountain lakes and mountain streams. You see these beautiful vistas and you see these people just doing wizardry out there. But the cool thing is, if you live in any other climate, or especially like here in Dallas and DFW, you can fly fish for any type of fish. I mean, you can fly fish in saltwater for redfish, you can fly fish for bass, bluegill, all of that. So I've basically converted completely almost to fly fishing. I don't even pick up my normal rod much anymore. You can catch a whole wide variety of things. So it's awesome and it's super fun. And it's super addicting when you catch one. Alright, so let's start it off with gear. Probably the most common thing you're going to need is a fly rod, right? So this is what they call a fly sock. So the rod's in here, breaks it out into 4 pieces. This is it's a Sage. This is an R8 core. It's a pretty high-end fly rod. You do not need this to catch fish. To give you a specific example, this right here is a White River rod from Bass Pro that costs $49, $39 or $49 for the whole setup, including rod and reel. And this past week I was in Durango and caught the biggest rainbow trout I've ever caught in my life with that specific one, because I broke my Orvis rod. So you do not need a super high-end rod to catch fish. Now there's a noticeable difference when you cast with the high-end rod, but the basic one will work just fine to start. So there's a few things you need to know about when you look for a rod, and that's the most common thing is the weight of the rod. So you're going to have anything from 3 weight, 5 weight, 7 weight, 10 weight. You're going to see all that up. That's a simple way to think about it is the smaller the weight is, the smaller the fish you're going to try to catch, right? You go to like a 10 or 11 weight fish, you're going to be out there trying to catch the big boys. And that also, the main reason is because that's the size of the fly line that you're going to be on there, so you'll be able to cast bigger flies, which are bigger bait with a fly rod. So you're not going to be able to cast these huge streamers with a 3 weight fly rod, but the most common type is probably a 5 weight. That'll cover you. I mean, that's what that is. That's what most of my rods are. That'll cover you across almost 90% of what you're going to be doing, unless you're, saltwater fishing for big redfish, or anything like that. So that's number one, fly rod. All right, number two, you're gonna need a reel, a fly reel. So this is a Ross Animus. This is kind of my new baby. It's my go-to combo with my Sage. You want to kind of match the reel to the weight of the rod, simply due to the fly line, but that's super simple. A lot of combos you can get when there's some that I'll post on this video too, like the Orvis Clearwater. You can get the full combo. That's probably a good midpoint for somebody that wants to take it a little more seriously. Orvis's warranty is phenomenal. As I mentioned, I broke the tip off mine and no questions asked. They have one in the mail. I should get it this week. So that's fly rod and fly wheel. Next up, so you got the fly rod, you got the fly reel. You're gonna need your line, so you're gonna need to get some tippet, and you're gonna need to get some leader. So simple way to think about it, they have it's almost the inverse of the fly rod from a size standpoint, but they have 1x, 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x, 6x. The higher up you go, the thinner the leader and the line. That's usually for like smaller fish, or like trout, or something where you want the line to kind of disappear to leave a more natural presentation, right, for the fish. So the 1x, 2x, that's when you're trying to catch bigger ones. You're throwing bigger streamers. So you're going to need that as well. So we got the fly rod, the fly reel, leader, and tippet. That's going to be your combo to set up basically everything. Next up is probably the most important thing besides the rod and reel, is the fly. Alright, so I don't know if you guys can see that well, but you're going to need some of these bad boys. You're going to need the flies. Right, so this is the most intimidating part of fly fishing if you're going to like a store. So I'm going to try to, because there's thousands of flies. There's probably hundreds of thousands of flies, and they all have different names. They're all super confusing. I still don't even know half of what I'm doing. I can break it down to simple types of flies, probably the three main types, what they're used for, and then I'm going to go at the end and kind of talk a little bit about ones that can cover you in any condition, that they're always good to get. Alright, so number one, you're going to have a nymph, soft tackle, and then streamers. So those are the three main fly types that you can get. So start with the nymph. This is the nymph. This little guy will catch you a ton of trout, and it's probably your go-to, honestly. Like, if nothing else works, nymphing usually works 90% of the time. So I typically run what they call a double nymph rig. So you tie the nymph to the tippet, and then tie basically another piece of tippet to the hook of the nymph, bring another nymph in, so you got two nymphs. So double the chances, double the fun. Super easy way to fish. Just throw the nymph, watch it stream, or watch it float down the stream, then catch. So nymphing works 90% of the time. It's probably the best, in my opinion, the best way to fly fish for trout. Alright, so next up is the soft tackle, and I always got this confused. It's soft hackle, not soft tackle, which is what I thought, because you're thinking tackle like a tackle box. But these little guys are meant to represent mostly flies on the water. So I fish these a lot of times in what they call like a dry dropper, or like dry fly. So think if you're fishing like bass, like top water, it's going to sit on the top, fish are going to come up and eat it, and boom, there you go. These are like a caddis, which is a type of fly. Those are always really good, and there's absolutely nothing, I mentioned nymph fishing's good, but there's nothing quite like getting a topwater bite. That's pretty much across every type of fishing though. I mean, you get a topwater hit with a bass and it's amazing, right? Your adrenaline spikes, it's phenomenal. Alright, so last but not least, streamers. So streamers are meant to look, I'd say, more like aquatic, other aquatic animals, not so much bugs. So looking at anything from like small minnows, bait fish, leeches, larger bugs, stuff like that. So a lot of times the bigger, streamer fishing is what you're going to be using really to catch. Like for me, I'll catch a lot of bass with streamers. So those are the three main types, and there's thousands of types of each one of those. I mean, this guy right here. I mean, you got the clousers, and you got like this guy right here, which I'm not even 100% sure what I'm supposed to catch with him. I just thought he looked really cool. So next up, I'm going to go over kind of just the main flies that you're going to need pretty much in every situation. Alright, so if all that, or if the vast quantity of flies sounds overwhelming, I get it. I've been there. So now I'm going to show you a few flies that will cover you in pretty much any situation whatsoever. So number one, this is the infamous fly, fly. It's a black woolly booger. This guy will catch anything, literally anything. Like I've caught everything across the sun on a woolly bugger. Just a black woolly bugger, throw it in, strip it, pop it, make it look obviously like it's alive, right? I mean, I was out today, caught bluegill on it, caught bass on it, caught trout. Yeah, catches anything. I don't really know what it's supposed to simulate, maybe like a leech or maybe a minnow or something, but it does work for sure. Alright, see if you can see it. Number two is a prince nymph or a beadhead nymph or whatever you want to call it, similar to the last one I showed you. I just like the black coloration for whatever reason. It works really well. Yeah, these guys will catch fish. I like going with the beadheads because they sink, right? So it allows you to get into what they call the strike zone quicker. So yeah, any coloration probably work. Usually I just go with black because for whatever reason it just works for me. All right, now last but not least, this little guy, if you can see it. Oh, that's the risk, right? This little guy, if you can see it, was the MVP on my last trip. I mentioned I was in Durango fly fishing. This little guy caught everything. It was pretty much all my strikes and all my bites were on this guy. This is a Griffiths gnat. Load up on those. I promise they'll do work. Alright, so that pretty much covers the essential flies. So I would just get a few of those in different colors, brown, obviously black, maybe get a white one or two, green. Just try to experiment and see what works. Alright, so we covered fly rod, fly reel, line, and flies. And that's really full stop, that's all you need. The next piece of this, we're going to cover gear that I would put as not essential to fly fish, but nice to have for sure. So we're going to start it off going over the most essential and then probably just accessories. Alright, first up, I'm going to recommend that this is not, like I mentioned earlier, essential to do it, but I highly recommend getting a really good pack. So there's two main types. You got your chest pack and then your sling pack, right? It's really all personal preference. I'll use both at different times. Like if I'm shooting and I want to put a GoPro on my chest, I use a sling pack. But both are really good. I've got links to both of those I'll put in the description of the video, and they're on my channel description. Highly recommend. Got the Fish Pond chest pack and Orvis sling pack, but you can obviously get cheaper versions, but the pack will hold pretty much everything you have. It's a one-stop shop, especially if you're going to be wading. Highly recommend the pack. Alright, next up, good pair of polarized glasses. That's any kind of fishing. Lets you see the fish better in the water. Keeps the reflection from the sun reflection off, so it's really good. Rocking a pair of Oakleys here, but any type of polarized glasses would be great. Alright, the next two pieces of gear is really going to depend on where you're going to be fishing. So a lot of times you can bank fish, and you'll be floating sometimes, so you won't need this stuff. But if you're going to be out there in the water wading, I recommend a good pair of wading boots. So these are actually my son's. These are Corkers, but I got basically an adult version of that same pair. And then obviously waders, right? You're going to need that. That's probably one of the coolest parts about fly fishing, honestly, is just because you're out there in nature, right? Surrounded by nature, wading in the water, catching fish on their home turf, right? So waders and boots, wading boots. I'm going to back up. I would put a good pair of pliers and snippers and essentials. You're going to need that anyway to cut the fly rod, or fly line. So this pair right here, I don't know if you can see it, it has both, it's good, I'd say pliers, but vices, and it's got snippers on the end too. So highly recommend good pair of clamps, snippers, whatever you want to call them. Alright guys, so that basically covers the bare necessities, right? So you can really go down a rabbit hole. They've got all kinds of things. You got floating, you got all kinds of scent glands, you get all kinds of stuff like that to make the flies more attractive. The last thing I would probably get, and I know I'm gonna get roasted for this, is an indicator or they're basically bobbers, right? I mean, the community's gonna go absolutely nuts over that because you don't want to call them bobbers, but that's basically what they are, right? They attach to the line, especially if you're nymphing. Primarily use them for nymphing. That way you can see when the fish strikes. Because if you're like me and you first go out there and you're used to fishing for bass, you're not going to get that huge strike, right? You're barely going to feel it. So you want to see as soon as it goes down, you want to pop it, set the hook. So anyway, hope this helped. Definitely would have helped me. So my camera overheated because it's like 110 degrees in Dallas. So just wanted to say hopefully you found that guide useful, and like and subscribe for more fly fishing content. I will be doing more beginner guides going forward. So appreciate all the support. Again, thanks again.